Alrighty, here we go. I'm going to try and walk you through setting up SDR console and the satellite tracking program for use with an 857 or whatever. So per request of Jared W4ZXT. This is Steve K1GMM, the Maniac. Here we go. First thing you need to do, you're looking at this screen, get OmniRig installed. I have 2 rigs in here. You need to get the 857 into this, and this is for future. You don't need this running if you're just going to run console with the satellite tracking program. But this is for the future if you decide to go to SAT PC 32. So I'm going to kind of lump this whole thing together. All right. So I have mine set. Rig 1 is a 7300. I use that on HF. It allows 2 rigs. So this is what I have in here for the rig for the 857D. Take a good look at that. All right. Now this COM port, this is where the baud rate is set, seems to work well. RTS high, DTR low. Everything else I leave alone. The reason why, first thing you're going to need to do this, go to Device Manager on your computer, look up what COM port your rig is sitting on. If you're not going to use a serial port emulator, you can just choose that COM port. By default, my 857 sits on COM port 11 in Device Manager. Okay. The reason why I have it set to COM2 is because I'm using a VSPE system, so I can switch back and forth between the software, and it's seamless and it's not a problem. Okay, so set your rig control up, or your OmniRig settings, so that's done. Okay, the next thing is I use VSPE. There's COM0Com. There's another one, I think it's free, that you can use. I use VSPE. So what I do is I create a virtual serial port for COM2. See, you can see right here, this is COM11. This is where the 857 is on. I create a virtual port. COM11 is directed to COM2, and all of the software connects to COM2. To do this, you need to go to Device, Create, hit Splitter, hit Next. You're going to choose your virtual serial port, and the data source serial port is the one your rig is on. So that would be COM11 if you're going to set this up. Uncheck DTR, leave RTS checked for the fourth 857D, and you're off and running. I'm not going to do it because I already did it. The second thing you need to do is you need to create a pair. This is for SAT PC 32 if you want to run a PAN adapter with your 857D. So I went ahead and did this as well. So to do that, you go to Create, you select Pair, hit Next, and basically you're creating 2 virtual serial ports that communicate with each other. So I have mine on, one is 98 I set, and the other one is set to 99. Hit Finish. That's done. Now you're going to want to save this, so go to File, Save As, and send that to your desktop. Save it to your desktop, so when you launch it, it automatically launches this configuration every time. Very handy. Okay, that's done. Now on to console. Again, this is in the future if you decide to go to SAT PC 32 and you want to use a PAN adapter with it. I'll show you why I set up the virtual pair. So if you go to CAT, Port Selection, under Options, you'll see, now the VSP has to be started for you to see this. So you need to set SDR console to COM99. All right, so make sure that's checked, click OK. Done with that. There we go. Now we're going to go to the satellite tracking software. I'm not going to go into, just really quick, I have an RTLSDR dongle connected to this. That's what's running right now. And I'm not going to go into how to, that's a whole different thing. So basically I'm using the dongle for downlink and the 857 for uplink. That's how this is working. Go to view, click satellites, drag this over here. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set your frequencies, your satellites all up and your frequencies, all right? So how to do this, you hit select, browse. These are all the satellites available. So you work through the list. You can get the satellite list from AMSAT. I have sideband and FM satellites in here. Put in whatever you want. Okay. Once they're loaded in, hit apply, and they will all pop up here. Now you're going to have to put in, I don't think these loaded the frequencies, uplink and downlink frequencies by default. I think you have to go in and do it. So you click on this, go to organize, and you'll see a place where you click on RX and TX here, and then you enter the frequencies and the mode. Okay, and your center frequency if you want one in there, whatever. I usually don't even put in a center frequency, so I can go ahead and edit that, take that out of there. Once that's done, you have to do that for every satellite. All right. Now, when you click on a satellite here, let me go through some of the things here. You got the tracker, okay, which is this. Now all these can be, I'm going to go ahead and dock it. All of these windows that you open can either be floating or docked in a single panel. So I'm going to set it up all docked for you guys right now. You have your external radio. Okay. Now you can set this up floating or docked as well. I use this, passes. Okay, so this will tell you all of the satellites that are coming into view. And it'll basically tell you what to expect. Okay. So these are all the satellites that are in your list right here, and this is what's coming. Okay, we're going to move on to the radio. So when you go to start this, right, you go ahead and select a satellite. Let's say you want to work AO91. You click on this. There's a couple things that a couple tips I'm going to share with you. Excuse me. The Doppler doesn't work. I do not use it on console. The only thing I use in this program is, now maybe it's designed to be run with a full duplex rig. That's more what my gut tells me. But without the ability to calibrate the Doppler, I don't see how that can actually work. I haven't figured that one out yet. This is your uplink. This is what your radio is. It's going to set your radio to when you click on a frequency, right? So you have to start this. So when you click start, 857 online. So it's actually running. So on my display right now, I actually have 435.242.92, and this is the Doppler correction. All right, so if this doesn't come on, you need to check. You can click on OmniRig, and you can check to make sure that the 857 is set correctly. Now, if you didn't if you didn't start VSPE, it's not going to work. If you don't use VSP and you're just doing a direct COM port connect, then yes, you can just put in COM11 here, remember, from the setup. I know, hopefully it's not too confusing. But anyways, so this is online. And you must, if you have multiple rigs in there, you got to make sure OmniRig is looking at the correct rig. By default, it's probably going to look for rig 1 in OmniRig if you have 2 rigs. If the 857 is on rig 2, you need to make sure this is checked, and it will automatically start the radio. Okay? 2 things. The auto apply up here. If these are not checked, it will not set your pan adapter to where it needs to be. So let me move this off screen. I'm going to go ahead and dock this. Okay, so let's move this off screen. So here is the pan adapter. Now you can see that the pan adapter is where it's supposed to be. One thing as well, you are going to have to set the mode on the radio as well as the PL if it uses a tone on an FM set. So don't forget to do that. It's this software, it doesn't automatically do it for you. I don't know if there's a way to make it do it. I don't believe there is. It's very primitive, but it works great for FM satellite operation if you're using a dongle for a downlink. If you want to hear yourself, it's the cheapest way to get full duplex, and you will hear yourself, but there'll be about a half-second delay, which can be incredibly irritating. How I run it is I run with one earphone on my ear and the other earphone off the ear, because it's very difficult to talk. If you can talk while hearing yourself with a half-second delay with your voice coming back, you have more brain capacity than 99.9999% of the population out there. So that's the easiest way to handle that. All right. Pretty sure that's it. Let me run through some of the settings here. So if you click the gear icon up here, you have your display. You are going to need to put your latitude and longitude in so it knows where you are. If you look right here, this is where I am. So don't forget to put that in. Okay. The appearance, you can choose different maps. Your track color. Okay. It does give you the capability to record. Satellites, kept data, you can update this. So you can set it to update. I have mine set up to update on startup. And you can check the areas, make sure the areas are enabled where you want to grab the Keplerian data from, the kept data, which basically tells the software everything about the satellite, its track, and all that other stuff. Status, I don't care about the moon and all the other crap. Announcements, if you want your announcements on, you can enable that here. Doppler. It'll set when to activate the Doppler there. This does offer rotator control. I don't have autonomous rotator control. And of course, this lists all your serial ports available. Okay, that's it for that. I think that's it for this. This is a nice. I really like how the software looks compared to SatPC32. I'm a visual person and a graphical person. So when you click on a satellite, so what do we got coming? We got this one, the AO7. So this will load AO7. So if you look right here, let me close this. If you look right here, see this? I love this compass. This tells you what direction it's coming from. See, I use a manually, let me pull it up here. This is one way to handle this stuff. I'll show you. If you do not, if you want to run this from the shack and you do not have autonomous control, but you have manual control, remote control over your antenna, I use a CCTV camera, and this is my antenna out there, and it uses an elevation and azimuth rotating system I constructed, and so I can set this. So if I know this satellite is coming up from the south, I just move the antenna, and this shows me exactly where it's pointed all the time. So I'll move it around to the south. And there you go, Junior Johnson. We're ready to fly. So that's how I handle that. All right, we're moving on to SAT PC32, and that's going to be a whole different video. We'll catch you guys later. Hope this helps. And I hope I didn't leave anything out. 7-3 K1GMM.